Jeremy and the Sleagur by Will Reed. Chapter 1. Pirate Lord Jeremy. The sword flashed towards his face. Jeremy felt the air brush his cheek as he leant away. Any closer and he'd have lost an eye. No time to think about that now. The enemy was already pushing the advantage, swinging another blow. He spun away, turning in a full circle, sword held up and parried. The weapons clacked together. Jeremy took the advantage and danced back. In a brief pause, Jeremy flipped his sword, catching it neatly. Then, after an elaborate bow, he blew a raspberry at the other boy, coaxing him. Martin's face flashed with anger, his freckles almost disappearing against the camouflage of his sweaty red cheeks. He ran at Jeremy, who took a smooth, ballet-like step towards him. Martin abruptly found that he had no room to swing his sword and pushed Jeremy away, nearly toppling both of them over. Determined to lay a blow, he put his full weight into a thrust towards him, sword aimed directly for Jeremy's heart. The other boy waited for him to get close enough, and in the last second stepped aside, turning in a spin back-to-back with Martin. "Steady on, old boy," Jeremy's voice as posh as a platter of silver plates. He raised an eyebrow and put a lordly hand on his hip. Jeremy grinned at his friend's expression, frustration radiating from him. He ran at Jeremy, sword held high. At the last moment, Jeremy fell into a squat, his knees grinding into the grass, painting his school trousers green. Martin, expecting to clash with a fully upright Jeremy, had no time to react. His eyes bulged as his feet met Jeremy's haunched body as he plunged over him. Jeremy winced at the sound of Martin's teeth clacking together when he hit the ground. A few uncomfortable moments passed before Jeremy realised that Martin was crying. Jeremy blushed, and he tentatively picked up his stick to prod his crumpled friend. "Come on, Martin, man up, mate." "Go away," came the muffled reply. He glanced around, hoping no one could see. Jeremy instinctively didn't help his friend up. He'd already learned what other boys said if they saw two boys holding hands. Eventually, a sniffing and gasping Martin climbed to his feet, pulling at some twigs caught up in his red curls. Without a word, he pushed past Jeremy and shambled back towards the playground, pushing through the gap in the bush, the secret entrance to their play area. Jeremy sighed, glancing back at the little grassy patch, and followed Martin out. Today's gentleman pirate might have ended badly, but his explorer of the jungle and dinosaur trainer had been talking points for days. The boy sighed, dragging a rustling branch behind him, hiding the secret place completely, and crawled in. Jeremy was happiest when pretending to be someone amazing. It was his deepest wish to be picked to be the star of the school play, all faces spellbound by his performance. But that had never happened. Whenever the teacher asked the children to put up their hands if they wanted to be in the play, something had always kept his firmly down. He didn't know if he was worried that the other children might laugh at him, or afraid that if he showed everyone his most heartfelt dream, that somehow they might squash it. Instead, he'd always been given the drudgery of a minor part, like a passer-by who nods at the main character or a lamp-post. Eventually, he re-entered the rumbled noise of the busy playground and slipped back into the crowd.